welcome to Speak for Yourself, Marcellus Wiley. But the first thing I need to do, I got to congratulate my man, Emmy Acho, up here for winning another Emmy Award last night in the Outstanding Short Form category for Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Congratulations, Acho, and good Lord, you up here making me feel all kind of ways. I'm so proud of you, dog. For real. Talk to us. How you feel?
Thank you, bro. I feel satisfied. That's the best way to say it. It's like not happy, I'm not elated, I'm satisfied. Like if you're hungry and you eat a good meal. Big dog, I put it like this. I've been playing with house money, man, and I'm just grateful to keep on winning.
Did you win yesterday? My God, Emmy Acho. What you gonna do with this one?
Put it next to the other one. Everybody need a date.
Ah, look at it. My left hand need the right hand. Got to do it together. All right, let's get it going with the Packers, who didn't win yesterday. They were blown out Sunday by the Saints. Aaron Rodgers finished with 0 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Oh, you didn't have a good Sunday like Acho did. He had the worst margin of defeat in his career. He was even pulled in the fourth quarter for Jordan Love. Here we go. After the game, Matt LaFleur said the Saints, quote, absolutely embarrassed us. Rodgers was told about that comment and had this to say. Listen to this.
I mean, I'll let him use those words, and I'll use, it's just one game. You know, we played bad. I played bad. Offensively, we didn't execute very well. One game. We got 16 to go.
Okay, so Acho, is the blowout loss a bad look for Aaron Rodgers?
It's a terrible look. It couldn't get worse. It was, Aaron Rodgers looks like a fool. And in all honesty, at this point in time, I'm a little upset on behalf of Packers fans. I'm upset on behalf of Packers management because Aaron Rodgers, the reason the Packers looked as bad as they did is because you looked as bad as you did. Y'all, in life, in ball, in anything, you got to call it both ways. Aaron Rodgers, don't come on the post-game presser and downplay the loss because you didn't downplay the Packers not listening to you about offseason acquisitions. You didn't downplay the Packers not meeting your needs as far as team camaraderie, chemistry, etc. You did not downplay the Packers drafting Jordan Love. That was a huge deal. They drafted Jordan Love, huge deal to you. Packers didn't listen to you in regards to the roster, huge deal to you. Packers didn't listen to you in regards to play calling last year playoffs, huge deal to you. But now when you get embarrassed, worst opening loss in the last 51 years in Green Bay's Packers history, when you get embarrassed, now it's not a big deal. Now it's just one game. Well, Jordan Love was just one draft pick. Randall Cobb was just one player. Jordy Nelson was just one player. Your GM is just one guy. So don't tell me that this is just one game after everything all offseason has been a huge deal. If it's a big deal to them, it's got to be a big deal to you. Because Aaron Rodgers, when it was a big deal to you, you wanted it to be a big deal to them. So as I look at it, Sel, I think it's a terrible look for Aaron Rodgers because now it is as if everything he did in this offseason was in vain. And why do I say that? And then I'm done because I know you got a lot on your mind and we're going to run laps with this one. Is because the mistakes the Packers and Aaron Rodgers made were lack of practice or game repetition mistakes. Down 17-3. It's a ball game, y'all. Early third quarter. Aaron Rodgers, you march your team down the field, you threw a bonehead interception. It's dumb. Whether you're a rookie or a 16-year NFL veteran, dumb play. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't make that mistake in week 4, 5, or 6. You make that mistake because you haven't played the game in a little while. Or maybe you haven't practiced in a little while. Later in the third quarter, 17-3. Still a ball game. The Packers defense just forced a 6-and-out on the New Orleans Saints. Aaron Rodgers, go down the field, get 6, get 7, get 3, made a game. Aaron Rodgers, another deep, mindless interception. That just came from a lack of playing ball and just carelessness. The Packers looked atrocious because Aaron Rodgers looked atrocious. Yes, it's just one game, but Cobb was one player. Jordan Love was one player. Jordy Nelson was one player. If it's a big deal to Matt LaFleur, Rodgers, it needs to be a big deal to you.
Man. I got to pile on with you, and then I'm going to have to jump off that pile that we're going to make as I pile on with you. This was a horrible look for Aaron Rodgers. Worse look than that ponytail he got going on right now. That thing look
That too.
Boy, that's a truck stop look, man. What the hell? Let me get some nachos. Aaron Rodgers, clean it up. Clean your game up as well. Here's the problem. Aaron Rodgers, you know what's going to happen right now in their narrative going forward. Everyone's going to marry your offseason and all that commotion and all those issues and you kicking up dust to that bad performance. Basically, you gave back all the leverage you had because the only leverage you had in the first place was your greatness. And as soon as they can say you're not great, even for a week, and they can start looking at you as goodness instead of greatness.
Talk about it.
They're going to start talking to you a different way. Right now, Aaron Rodgers can go into the presser after his coach and say, well, those are his words and these are my words. And we're going to listen to Aaron Rodgers' words. But at the same time, if we don't see the performance, then we stop listening to those words. Let me give you an example. Sha'Carri Richardson. A lot of people were talking about her at the Olympics and Olympic trials and then missing the Olympics and then the Prefontaine after the Olympics. Do people know that she ran last week and got dusted again, and nobody's talking about it anymore? You know why nobody's talking about it anymore? Because the performances are adding up now. Now we don't even want to hear about you unless you're on Drake album or something like that, right? Emmy and all the stuff she's doing. Point being, it's the performance first. And Aaron Rodgers always had that, at least this offseason. Why? He's coming off an MVP performance. So we're going to listen to whatever you got to say. When you come off of this level of performance, all of a sudden we start listening a little differently. Yeah, we still have love for you, Aaron Rodgers, because you're Aaron Rodgers the Great. But don't you dare convert into Aaron Rodgers the Good. What was so bad about this one is, Aaron Rodgers, we saw you make plays that it just didn't seem like you were so committed to making good plays from. What does that mean? Old Aaron Rodgers looked like he had conviction with everything he did, good, bad, or ugly. Yesterday, I saw some plays that consequence didn't matter. Seemed. Like you said, the one play where he's looking at the rush, which Aaron Rodgers could get away with that. But looking at the rush, lose track of Devontae Adams, throws an interception, and it felt nonchalant. Why did it feel nonchalant? Because we already know we have a story in our head that Aaron Rodgers is not all in. When you say, I may play or retire, here's the worst part about this if you go forward and actually play. Everything you do wrong, we're going to say, was he 50-50 in terms of preparation with it? And that's what I left that game thinking. Was Aaron Rodgers fully convicted, fully committed to the task at hand? When people say keep your eyes on the prize, it doesn't take a lot for you to just look like he looked at that pass rush. Just look a little off of the prize to all of a sudden stray away from the intended goal. Aaron Rodgers looked like a guy who was just frankly distracted. He looked like a guy who had too much going on for him to prepare and fully focus in on the prize. If he continues like this, which I know he won't, but if he doesn't change his mind, what's out there is going to continue to look the same.
So you're right. The problem is Aaron Rodgers set himself up for failure, and after game one, he's failing. And it's all his fault. Because the biggest issue in all of this, and I don't know if anybody else going to tell you, but Marcellus Wiley just did, and I will echo it. Aaron Rodgers has now given us a narrative to run with. And it might be a false narrative, but it's a narrative nonetheless. Aaron Rodgers goes out there and struggles last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We didn't say he was uncommitted. We didn't say he was distracted. We just said the Bucs had a good defense.
Yeah, they put it on him.
Aaron Rodgers comes out here, struggles week one against another good defense in the Saints. Now, nonchalant, uncommitted, lackadaisical, just doesn't care. Why? Because all offseason, Aaron Rodgers gave us a narrative. He gave us the narrative that he doesn't care that much. His team is at offseason team activities. He's kicking it in Hawaii. He gave us a narrative that this was all a joke to him. He wore a T-shirt that says, I'm offended. He gave us a narrative that what is supposed to be a game, yet serious because it's a profession, is really just one big $1 million joke. He can take it. He can leave it. Well, you know, I might retire. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. So, Aaron Rodgers, you've given us a narrative. You set us up for failure. But here's the other thing. I would be remiss not to mention how atrocious a game he played. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 28 times. He had a passer rating of 36.8. Aaron Rodgers could have thrown the ball into the dirt 28 consecutive times, gone 0 for 28, and his passer rating would have been 39.6, higher than his passer rating in the game. Do you all realize just how bad he played? I understand. He won the MVP last year. He has residual greatness. He has residual love in our minds, as he should. He is Aaron Rodgers. He probably going to come back and ball next week. But this week ain't next week, and this Monday ain't next Monday, so we sitting here for the moment.
We talking.
So the other thing that ran me hot is, A-Rod, you can't act like you care more than everybody else.
Let's go.
So Because Aaron Rodgers has won a Super Bowl, has been a Packer, is the most probably famous person currently in that city, it's just as if, well, I care more than all y'all. Aaron Rodgers, the fans care too now, right? Like the fans they care whether y'all win or lost, but even more than that, all your other teammates, they care as well. Because those that were at OTAs, bump OTAs, those that were committed to training camp, those that were committed throughout the course of this offseason, they wanted to come out here and not get embarrassed. Because not only did you embarrass yourself, you embarrassed everybody else that dons that Packers uniform. 38-3. You embarrassed all of them. So don't just sit there and, oh, it's just one game. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is an MVP. Your resume, your aura, your name, it can afford an embarrassment like that. But some of the other players on that squad, they cannot afford that like you do. That also, Sal, runs me hot the wrong way.
Well, let me stay with you, stay hot, and then I'm going to have to jump off this because just who I am as a person, I always got to stay balanced in this approach. By facts, by resume, it was the worst loss of Aaron Rodgers' career as a starter. That's crazy to say. And it's worse to say after this offseason. Like, you could have pulled this one, like you said last year, week 9, when we saw them lose, and you said, okay, Aaron Rodgers, it's okay. When we saw week 9 with the Buccaneers lose by 35, the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers by 35, and we were starting to say, oh, it's time to bail on them, but they responded, as I think Aaron Rodgers will. But Aaron Rodgers has been here before, and it has been worse than this before in terms of his individual performance. 19 games I counted with a worse completion percentage. He still became Aaron Rodgers, the great multiple-time MVP and Super Bowl champion. 4 games with a worse quarterback rating. So I don't know where he was throwing the ball in those games, but 4 games worse than that, including last year in that Buccaneers loss, 35.4 rating. Did he win the MVP last year? Yeah, he did. Can he win MVP this year?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, he can. But boy, does he have a hurdle to hop in terms of storyline, in terms of leverage. And the leverage is now out of his hands. I hear a lot of people out there, especially activists, always talk about power to the people, power to the people. Well, this is one time I'm going to tell y'all, the power's already with the people. Once we start thinking something different about you, oh, we got the power. And I always bring this example up, and I hope it fits this one, because this show feels like it does. Most beautiful girl in the world walks in class. This used to happen, 9th grade, Tiffany Cambridge. Oh, damn it, I said her name. Anyway, walk into class, most beautiful girl on campus, right? If her head's down, she's not saying anything, what's wrong with you? You look so cute. You look amazing. Pick your head up. Power with the people. All of a sudden, she picks her head up. Next day, she comes in with her head up. And everybody like, oh, she thinks she all that. She thinks she too cute. What's she doing? Same person, same response, except you walk in feeling like who you are versus you feeling like who they think you are. Aaron Rodgers, you know what people think about you right now? Let me tell you. They ain't thinking good about you. As soon as you give us anything, an ounce to run with, we gonna take it because we're looking at you like you're not fully committed. I saw Aaron Rodgers throw a red zone interception. He hasn't done that in 2 years. I saw him throw 2 picks in a game, and he threw 5 all year last year. Think about that. On top of the fact that you know that this dude wasn't all in. You ever leave school with your boys, and they like, all right, the teacher's like, all right, the bell's about to ring. We have a quiz tomorrow. Oh, you hear your boy. He like, no, damn. He don't want to do it. Then he go home. You like, all right, I'm about to study. He like, no, Nintendo. He playing his Nintendo. Then you like, all right, let's go. He like, no, I got to ride my bike outside. I got to go see if Tiffany out there. So he ride this bike, doing all that. Tomorrow, what happens? He nervous as hell, but he's, man, I'm good, homie. I'm prepared. And the worst thing that can happen to anybody is that you sign this deal with the devil, that you have success without preparation. I'm glad Aaron Rodgers fell on his face yesterday for one reason only. I don't want him to sign that deal with the devil. He was off the mark in terms of his commitment. He shouldn't have success without full commitment, full preparation. But I know he does respond, as we've seen it before in Aaron Rodgers' career. After he has a game like this, he comes back and he lights them up. Last time it happened, 4 touchdowns the next game. So look forward to him responding, but I'm glad it happened this way.
So the question for me, though, is really going to be why. And we won't get that question answered until next week. Why did Aaron Rodgers struggle? Against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we knew why he struggled, and ultimately it was proven to us why he struggled. That Buccaneers defense is legit, particularly when Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, is on his game, blitzing, defensive backs, or disguising coverages, etc. Against the Saints, why did he struggle? I don't know. We know the Saints defense is fairly legit, but in the same breath, did he struggle because he had less preparation and less focus the entirety of this offseason than he has in previous offseasons? You know the phrase, Noah didn't wait till it started raining to build the ark. It's drizzling. And it's drizzling for every team.
Drizzling, or is it just cloud cover? Miami cloud cover,
The reason
which
I
is
say
real
it's drizzling
clouds.
is the season has started for everybody. I ain't talking just for the Packers. Like, it's drizzling now, y'all. Now, for some teams that already built their ark, they going to be all right. They just going to take coverage. But for other people, Aaron Rodgers, he might be in position where, they just felt the first drop. And it was a couple drops. You lost 38-3, worst opening season loss in 51 years in Packers history. And now Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cobb, grab the plywood. I'm going to get a hammer. Aaron Jones, Devontae. Y'all grab your hammers. Y'all grab your pliers. Let's get to work. Somebody grab a saw. It's too late to start building once it starts raining. You can't wait till it rains to build the ark. Maybe it was just a bad game, and you can't attribute any of this to Aaron Rodgers' lack of focus and preparation. But if not, if not, it's going to be real bad for the Packers going forward. Thankfully, they're in a terrible division as it stands.
You're right. Too late sounds so damning, but they always say you prepare in the offseason and then you perform during the regular season.
Yes, sir.
You can't prepare during the regular season. That's the 80s, 70s NFL. You come in here not ready. These dudes are way ahead of you in terms of performance. I give you that. But I'll also give you this. Despite it being the lowest passer rating in history by a reigning NFL MVP the next year, let's say this. What did Aaron Rodgers do after he had that 35.4 outing in terms of quarterback rating against the Bucs last year? The next game, 132 passer rating, 4 touchdowns, donut interceptions. I just don't like to see the tug of war between Aaron Rodgers and his coach already. Well, those are his words. My word. I don't like that. Already passive-aggressive. We doing that. I also don't like the tug of war between him and all his invincible teammates who don't want to pull with Aaron Rodgers, but can't stand up and pull against him. They're there, but they can't say anything in totality yet. All that adds up to, look, I think Aaron Rodgers will respond, but right now, if you don't, boy, it's a narrative that's coming for you. Coming up, Matthew Stafford had a debut to remember. Did he ever? Right down the street, too. We'll tell you if his Rams lived up to the hype, but first, the Browns almost came away with a win over the Chiefs. Almost don't count. We'll tell you if their loss is on Baker Mayfield. But before we go, let's give it up one more time for two-time Emmy winner, Emmanuel Emmy Acho. We got to give it up one time for you, two-time winner. God, dog. I love this. Speak for yourself. I'm in the mood.
Now, the Browns have the Chiefs on the ropes with a 12-point halftime lead, but Patrick Mahomes got it going in the second half with 3 touchdown passes. Baker Mayfield had a chance to lead his squad to a comeback win. But Baker threw an interception late in the fourth quarter that sealed it for the Chiefs. Okay, Sal. I'm interested in your take on
No, you're not.
I am. Is the Browns' loss on Baker Mayfield?
Absolutely, it's on Baker Mayfield. Now I'm about to get hot takey. I know what you guys out here doing in this industry. I need an Emmy too, damn it. It's time for me to go hot. No, man, look. I hate to do what I'm about to do, but I'm about to do it. There are no perfect people in this world. Therefore, there are no perfect players in this world. So we all ask this question, but not always consciously. How much did you help and how much did you hurt? In any situation, even when you talk about someone's legacy, when they're dead and gone, how much did they really impact you and those you love and society at large? And how much did they hurt, right? Now, for most people, you try to add up the positives and you try to forget about or at least minimize the negatives, unless those negatives are that bad. Let's look at Baker Mayfield yesterday, y'all. And how much did he help the team and how much did he hurt the team? I'm going to ask you a question, Nacho, maybe a couple. Did he score a touchdown? Did he score any points, Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield, only Baker Mayfield. Did he score any points?
No, sir.
Oh, he didn't help the team. How do we win games? By scoring points. So he didn't help the team in that manner, most important regard. Okay, did Baker Mayfield throw an interception? A game-deciding interception? A game-losing interception? Yes or no, Emmanuel Acho?
Yes, sir, he did.
Oh, yes, he did. Okay. So I'm trying to add up the help. He didn't help. Donut. Hurt. Did he throw more interceptions than he did touchdowns? Well, obviously, I know that. Look at me, rhetorical. Now, let's juxtapose this. Let's contrast this to, I don't know, Trey Lance. You know I call him one-play Trey, right? And I didn't know that name was really going to stick. I said that a month ago. He won't play Trey. He comes in the game. You know how many passes Trey Lance? Oh, so let me don't say passes. You know that Trey Lance threw a pass yesterday? He threw one pass, one completion for guess what, Acho? You're going to be amazed by this, how he helped this team. For a touchdown. Oh, my God, Becky. Did Baker Mayfield play an entire game and let one play Trey outperform, help the team more than he did? Oh, yes, sir. I'm going to end with this right now because I saw Baker Mayfield do all that for nothing. He did all that for nothing. I saw quarterbacks with a better passer rating yesterday than Baker Mayfield. Tell me if any of these guys ring a bell in terms of being as good or better than Baker Mayfield. Taylor Heineke, he wasn't even starting. He was a backup. He had a better day than Baker Mayfield. What the hell? Mac Jones, they lost, but his quarterback rating was better. Jalen Hurts, the guy you said, man, I don't even know about him. I don't know. He ain't going to be the quarterback. He should be the quarterback. Tyrod Taylor. 13-point getting Taylor balled out yesterday, and they didn't have 13 points. Way more. Teddy Safe Bridgewater. My God. Carson Wentz. Come on. Carson Wentz looked like this yesterday and still better rating than you. And last but not least, my man Jimmy G. I looked at Baker Mayfield's quarterback rating because that's the easiest one for me. Just add them all up and let me see where he landed. Bottom half of the league. Number 17, you know there are 32 teams, so 16, right there, bottom half. Baker Mayfield doing it all and doing it for nothing. Yeah, it's on him. You mad at me right now. I killed that take.
You did.
So then don't say nothing. Let's go. No, we do not need to argue on this one. He lost the game, dog.
It is not Baker's fault that they lost.
What?
But Baker is the reason they didn't win.
That's the way to be friend with them and still.
I think that's more accurate. It's not Baker's fault they lost, but Baker's the reason they didn't win. Let's break it down. Let's go into the nuances. I know that's where you like to dive on this show.
Let's go.
Baker Mayfield managed the mess out of that game. But Baker Mayfield managed the mess out of that game. When you really watch the game, which I rewatched it this morning, obviously, as Marcellus has told y'all, yesterday your boy was busy. And when I rewatched the game this morning, I was like, yo, Baker, you managed this game marvelously. First 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. Only happened twice in Browns history, opening on the road, 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. Amazing.
Yeah.
First half, did not punt the ball. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they punted the ball until the end of the game where they fumbled the punt. So Baker Mayfield managed the game marvelously. The problem is he only managed the game. He didn't win the game. What do I mean by that? He went out there and he completed all the short passes. Rollout game was on point.
Yeah.
Play action pass was on point. Running game was on point. Everything within manageable expectations was on point. But there were a couple times I needed Baker to go win the game.
Yeah.
There was a deep ball. Anthony Schwartz, a speedster from the SEC, if I'm not mistaken, ran track in the SEC, was a big-time speedster. Baker, I need you to hit him. I don't need you to manage the game. On that play right there, Baker, I need you to win the game. Then David Njoku later on, I believe it was the end of the half, 32 seconds left, you'll see the play. Yes, it ended up being a holding penalty. I think it's this one right here. But Baker, I need you to win the game. Don't manage it for me. You manage it perfectly, but I need you to go win the game. Those are the plays where you have to win the game. So I'm not going to put the loss on Baker. I don't think it's Baker's fault they lost. But I do think it's Baker's fault that they did not win because he did not do enough to go win the game.
That was a fight. That's more of a fight than I expected. I thought you saw the same game I saw, and then you had to watch it this morning, so you've seen it more recently than me, and I thought you would side with me. But let's go to war if you don't believe where I'm coming from. Baker lost this game because he didn't put the game out of reach when he had an opportunity to put the game out of reach. They were outscored 23-7 in the second half. They can't finish against this team. And it's crazy because I don't think that they're ever going to beat the Chiefs. And I know that sounds a little hyperbolic. The Chiefs are now 6-0 when they give up 150 or more rushing yards to a team. What's the way that Cleveland going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm going to say that again, y'all. They have not lost when they run the ball, eat up the clock, look cute. We win again. So the formula for success for Cleveland is not the kryptonite for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a problem. Now, Baker Mayfield, you're going to have to go out there and sling it. As you just stated, he didn't sling it. But then he started off fast, so you still hold some respect for him, and you say, maybe Here's the problem with comparing him to Brown's history, and you do that a lot to pump him up. Brown's history in general, in totality, is pretty bad, right? Low expectations usually come when you don't have results. So you're comparing them to a situation of low expectations because of little results.
Yes, sir.
I remember hearing about this growing up. Wiley history. Let's go forget it. Cleveland Browns history. What about Marcellus and his Wiley family? People were coming up to me and said, man, you're the first in your family to get on the airplane. Now, Acho, is that something I should be having a parade about? Is that some low-ass expectations, right? Hood. Oh, you're the first to graduate college. And I was like, oh, okay, I feel that. Then I started saying, damn, dog, how long our family been around? Like, what the hell? Community college, something? Trade tech, something? Nobody? Interesting. So sometimes these low expectations can make you think something big when it's just something normal. I'm looking at this situation simply like this. Baker Mayfield on the field, you did put up numbers, winning numbers, but you didn't win. So there's something else at play. And here's the something else. Do you remember Baker Mayfield sitting there, what was it, 7 minutes ago? You just watched the game about an hour ago since you were getting Emmys yesterday. You had a bigger Sunday than the NFL did on week 1. Good Lord, you're a beast. Baker Mayfield was sitting there watching his punter muff the punt, struggle with the punt. It wasn't that was the problem for me. It was that. Who in the hell you think you are? And then I see this. After you throw your interception, Baker Mayfield, you too emo for me, dog. You're supposed to be the leader of the team, and you over there dog cursing the punter, and you still got half a quarter left to play. Against the Kansas City Chiefs, you sitting out there thinking the game is over in that moment. Oh, Baker, oh, no, contraire, mon frere. The game was over after you were laying on the ground about to do the breakdance and centipede. You know why? Because your ass gave away the game, and you know it. Cats like that, I really despise. They don't know in totality what the game entails. They don't have complete perspective. I saw Mac Jones yesterday. They tried to give him his first passing touchdown, threw the ball away. I saw Mac Jones after a bad play, change a series, running to the sideline, encouraging the defense. I see Baker Mayfield when they still are in a game, winning the game, and muffing punts, sitting there going, oh. That wasn't the moment. The moment is when you had the ball in your hand and you couldn't finish the deal. So Baker Mayfield, once again, Mr. Consistently Inconsistent, needs to look at himself and get over this mental hump. Let's fight.
Yeah, I can't fight. Come on, man. Good takes.
You want to do the sentence? Over there crying.
Good takes.
What you crying about?
The bigger issue for me, if I'm a Browns fan, here is why I would be most concerned, and please hear me when I say this. I don't think the Browns could have played better against the Chiefs, and they still lost. Now, Browns fans are instantly saying, Acho, shut the heck up. We fumbled a snap. That'll never happen again. Sure. Next time, it might be Baker Mayfield misplaces a handoff and you fumble it. Acho, but a running back fumbled the ball. That won't happen again. Sure. Next time, it'll probably be a receiver who drops, a pass and it goes through his hands. Acho, Baker Mayfield threw a pick at the end of the game trying to throw the ball out of bounds. Sure, next time a defensive back will make an amazing play instead of Baker making a bad play. It's a game of football. Things always happen. Now, hopefully they're never as drastic as your punter bobbling the snap and then not realizing you can still punt.
You can still kick it.
They weren't rushing you, big dog.
Hell.
Punt it.
Nervous.
But you played a perfect first half. You didn't punt the ball. You only punted the ball one time, and that one time it was a fumble snap. I'm most discouraged, obviously, as somebody who has an affinity for the Browns, because I don't think the Browns can play better. Not that the Browns couldn't have played better that game. I just think next time it'll be something else. It's like relationships, and we talk that often on this show.
Yes,
sure, you can exchange one set of baggage in a relationship for another person, but they gonna have baggage too. So don't think just because you give up that individual, you giving up baggage. The next individual is gonna have baggage as well. This game for the Browns had baggage, but I would submit that it was the least amount of baggage a Browns game versus the Chiefs will have.
Yeah.
And you still lost because Patrick Mahomes went out there and won. That really, for me, tells why I'm most discouraged. I said this offseason, maybe 2 weeks ago, and Baker Mayfield proved it yesterday. The Browns have a better football team than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a better quarterback than the Browns. I need Baker Mayfield to lessen the difference between him and Patrick Mahomes just enough for the Browns to win. In the first half, he did. He lessened the difference just enough for the Browns to be winning. But in the second half, Patrick Mahomes, 3 touchdown passes. Baker Mayfield, still no touchdown passes, and we need you to go win. You threw a pick. Browns still have the better football team than the Chiefs. But the Chiefs quarterback is so much better, at least he was yesterday, that the Browns having a better team is rendered irrelevant.
You know what? When you say that, I agree with you. And then something inside of me just starts to alarm, say, no, I don't agree with him. And I'm like, why? I know I'm argumentative, and it's not that reason. It's because I don't think the Browns do have a better team. I think they have more talent if you want to go position by position. But to materialize that talent into success, they don't have the proper leadership. Be real. Baker Mayfield is not the guy that's going to lead them. He's too emo. He spazzes. When Patrick Mahomes was down in that game in the fourth quarter, did you see any of that? Those reactions? All that? Because he knows it's 4 quarters. But Baker, oh, ye of little faith. Like literally your punter, you still have at least 2 more possessions in that moment where your punter is muffing the ball and not kicking it. You know that. I mean, you know you still got time in the fourth quarter. You're going to get the ball back. You can be the hero. Why not encourage? Moments like that, ye of little faith. And even before, look, I hate an old fake-ass leader, and I hate a young fake-ass leader. And I hate somebody who goes to Twitter right before the game and said, launch. You see the video? What is it? Talk is cheap. Like, okay, I know you got your social media committee and you got your people doing, come on. Like, win the game first. You know you have never beaten Patrick Mahomes. Now, you're not by yourself. Josh Allen's never beaten Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's never beaten Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes never beat Tom Brady. The point of this is nobody's perfect. But how much do you help and how much do you hurt? And Baker Mayfield, yesterday, hate to say it, man, Peter, but you hurt a little more than you helped. Coming up, Jameis Winston had a lot of reasons to smile Sunday. Boy, did he ever. He ate them W's yesterday. We'll tell you if his Saints are for real. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Jameis Winston got his first start with the Saints, and he did not disappoint. Jameis threw 5 touchdown passes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 0 interceptions in the blowout win over the Packers. After the game, Sean Payton relayed what he told his team to Peter King, saying, quote, there wasn't a bigger statement in the NFL today than our win right here. So I tell him, okay. Are Jameis Winston Saints? Wait a minute, for real? That's his team already?
It got to be, Sal. Who else is it?
Well, it's been 1 week like that. 1 week on this show,
It ain't Taysom Hill, Saints.
No, by default.
Yeah, you're on to something. Man, I think they are for real, and I think they're for real because Jameis Winston, at least for now, appears to be for real. Remember, we had questions. We asked questions. We answered questions on ourselves, our own merit, before the game ever started. Oh, is Jameis going to be enough? Can Jameis cut back on the turnovers? So, Jameis has only thrown for 5 touchdown passes and no interceptions twice in his life. His rookie season and his Heisman winning season in Florida State. Well, his Heisman winning season, he won a Heisman. His rookie season, he was a Pro Bowler. He did it again just yesterday. Y'all deduce from that what y'all may. But we've only seen 5 touchdown passes, no picks. I also get what you're saying. Stats can lie. Jameis Winston threw for 5 touchdown passes and less than 175 yards, if I'm not mistaken. May have even been less than 150, actually. So, Jameis, it's not like he beat it up through the air, not necessarily, but y'all got to watch the details of the game.
Let's go.
Because Jameis Winston threw a pass that was 45 yards to the air for a touchdown. Now, it was 45 yards truly from the line of scrimmage. If you really want to count what it was in the air, to me, I count 60, but again, I ain't go to Columbia. Anyway. The last time Drew Brees threw a pass like that.
Don't do that.
True. 2017, sir. And that was the last time he threw a pass 45 yards in the air. Didn't even score. So when I'm talking about Jameis Winston is doing stuff that they have not seen done before. But beyond that, they're able to still stay balanced. Kamara had himself a ball game, and Jameis Winston is doing this without the Saints' #1 receiver. That's the best part about it. Ain't no Michael Thomas, can't guard Mike, and he's still out there doing his thing. I think the Saints are for real because we know their defense is legit. We know they have veteran leadership. Malcolm Jenkins, he's been on our show several times. He's a guy who's been in New Orleans, won a Super Bowl there, won a Super Bowl in Philly. Demario Davis is a dog at the middle linebacker position. Cam Jordan has been on our show a couple times as well, and we know how Cam Jordan is at the defensive line. At lineman, at linebacker, at safety, you got ballers, you got leaders. At quarterback, it now appears you have a competent player. I do think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I got to believe in this team. I think they are for real. And it's really simple. And I can go complex and I can give you guys some details, but I think the top layer is just simply they grabbed the blue chip stock, a former #1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a blue chip stock, and said, now there's no risk. We're going to take all the risk out of it. Would you bet on a blue chip stock with no risk, all reward?
All doubt.
Basically, him being in this system, him playing in this system, the way that he played in week 1, the way that we're projecting how Sean is going to take care of him, Peyton is going to be like, look, we're going to take some risks, but they're going to be calculated risks. You look at Jameis Winston now when he's not out there with the risk level that he had with Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay. Woo, the rewards are going to start piling in, and they already have. We saw a team that had no turnovers yesterday, no sacks allowed yesterday. And then Jameis became only the 3rd quarterback since 1950 to go out there, 5 TDs, no interceptions in his first start with a team. Talking about hitting the ground running. Good Lord, Jameis Winston. And hitting the ground running faster because Jameis Winston lost some weight. It's a lighter version of Jameis Winston out there. I wouldn't call him a true dual threat because his knees and hips don't go the same direction all the time. I don't know how he runs. He runs like you. But the boy, Raggedy Ann running. But he gets there. And I saw him actually using his legs as a threat. Respect to Jameis Winston, man. I ain't seen a greater pivot like this. You old enough to know when Amazon wasn't this Amazon? It used to be the books. I ain't seen a better pivot since Amazon said no more books. Let's just sell everything. Now they got malls closing left and right. And Jameis Winston going to have these teams running and ducking for cover. Because Jameis Winston with a protection like he had yesterday and the fact that he protects the football. His best friend is this football. I think Jameis used to think his best friend was his arm talent. And it's insane arm talent. Next level. Now he realizes, hey, let me just take care of this football. And it's going to be no risk, all reward.
Let me give it to y'all like this. The best part about Jameis Winston and why the Saints are secure with Jameis Winston is because one answer solves 2 problems.
Let's go.
One answer, which is Jameis Winston, is solving 2 problems. The first problem, we need a bigger arm. Drew Brees didn't give us a big arm. I just gave y'all one stat. Let me give you one better. The last time Drew Brees had a pass of 45 yards for a touchdown, 2014. Jameis Winston just did that yesterday. But the real answer that no one is talking about, Jameis Winston is just as efficient a runner as Taysom Hill. Why do I say that? Jameis Winston had 37 rushing yards, but it's not the rushing yards that he had. It's when he had them. 2 third-down conversions running the ball Jameis Winston had. 4 overall first-down conversions. He had 1 on first down, 1 on second down. Rushing the ball Jameis Winston had. You bring Taysom Hill in the game for 2 reasons. Convert on third down and convert in the goal line. But if Jameis Winston, who was 5 for 10 on third downs yesterday, can convert with his legs, then you now can render this whole Taysom Hill problem at times, you can put that to the side. Taysom Hill only had 2 carries and 1 pass attempt. Last year, I know Saints, y'all got frustrated. He'd run in the game for Drew Brees and fumble. Run in the game, take a sack. Run in the game, throw a pick. You don't have to deal with that anymore. You allow Taysom Hill to fully understand the position on his team, playing special teams, being a tight end, being a fullback, and getting some carries at times. And you allow Jameis to fully understand his position on his team, being a quarterback. Jameis Winston as an answer solves 2 problems, and that is why the Saints should be most elated.
Damn. We're breaking this down. So you're saying that all right, I understand the big arm talent improvement from Drew Brees.
Huge.
Yeah, it is huge because last year, Saints didn't have any games with more than 4 passing touchdowns. And in the first game, he has 5 passing touchdowns. I give you all that. You really trust Jameis to break down the huddle? You really trust in Jameis to dough up the W's and eat the W? Do you fully trust him? Because this is the thing, and here's a problem. My only issue with Jameis Winston now being the guy, and we're calling this his team, is this. Through adversity, what is going to be your response? Through success, it's easy because Jameis Winston is uberly successful. I know he had to be a backup last year. He had to go to the Harvard of quarterback schools to get his career back on track, to learn how to minimize those risks. But through success is the only time we ever been able to poke at Jameis Winston. Go back to his collegiate career, whether it was those off-the-field issues. Go back to his early playing days in Tampa Bay. With success is Jameis Winston evolving, getting better. Remember, it was a balancing act between the good and the bad. All I'm saying is I hold some reservation, even though, look, his trainer and mentor is Otis Leverett, my former teammate, one of the most talented dudes I've ever seen on a football field, like Myles Garrett level type. Big, fast, strong, quick, everything. I don't know if Jameis Winston continues to climb this mountain, gets knocked down, because everyone gets knocked down for some reason, and will continue to have the same types of performance.
Well, let me challenge you for the first time in this show. Isn't that a Marcellus problem? Here's why I say
I'm projecting.
You in therapy. You know, everybody should be, as you say, and I do not disagree with you at all one bit.
Let's go.
If an individual struggles with something, they could struggle with their diet, they could struggle with their faithfulness, they could struggle with whatever the case may be, alcoholism, whatever, y'all pick it. If they disappear and go to therapy for a year, 16, 18 months, and they now come out, if we still doubt that individual and their growth, that's got to be on us, because they did the work. Jameis Winston struggled as a quarterback 2 years ago. And as we know, figuratively speaking here, he went to quarterback acumen and quarterback IQ therapy. We ain't seen Jameis Winston much. He sat behind a first ballot Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. He sat behind maybe another Hall of Fame head coach in Sean Payton, a quarterback guru. When we saw Jameis Winston flirt in the preseason, he did well. We saw his faithfulness. We saw his growth, if you will. Now, Sel, first game of the regular season, he passed the test again with flying colors. Jameis went to his therapy. He went to his quarterbacking school. If we now still doubt Jameis or have reservations, I think that's an us problem. I think that's a Marcellus problem.
Let's go. Let's talk it. Okay. I know a lot of alcoholics. I'm not alcoholic. And I know that what they always say is that they're always fighting the alcoholism, right? So they count the days sober. They never stop counting the days sober because they know every day's a fight. And then sometimes they take these overt measures, as they should, as they need to, especially early on. No bars, okay? You hear it? I'm declaring the best way to fight temptation is to avoid temptation. And then you're good, you're great, you're Gucci, whatever, how much time elapses. And now we got to go to the wedding. Now, we're not going to the bar, but we're going to the wedding. And at the wedding, let's just say it's open bar. Now, all of a sudden, all I'm trying to say is, now you're around it. Ain't no avoiding this temptation. You got to fight. Fine, you win that battle. Then all of a sudden, you start to feel a little good about yourself. When you go home, I'm like, I'm about to go to the bar. You're like, you know what? I did well on that trip. Let me go. Okay. And then next thing you know, man, I'm good. I'm good. You 2-0. You 3-0. Bro, you whacking up the wins. And then somebody just gonna come and sneak you, brother. One day you're just gonna be sitting there and then you thought it was your drink. 7-Up, right? Nah, that's that vodka, boy. Ooh, it touched you again. Jameis Winston throw a pick. Oh, God, where's his mind gonna go? Is he gonna be drunk off of the oldness? All I'm saying is, before we just give him the team after 1 week, can we make sure he can hit the wedding, hit the bar, get a couple more W's? And hopefully he don't eat them. Coming up, Matthew Stafford's Rams debut right here in L.A. Why you call me alcoholic? And a cheater. I heard all that. Was one of the biggest takeaways from Sunday. But we got plenty more next. Look at that stadium. Oh, my God. There were so many storylines from the first Sunday of the NFL season. Matthew Stafford impressed in his Rams debut. Aaron Rodgers did not look like the reigning MVP. Jalen Hurts showed why he was named the starter in Philly. Hear that, Acho? And the Steelers had a big comeback win against my Bills. So, Acho, what was your biggest takeaway from Sunday?
Biggest takeaway, 2. I'm going to start here because they both will wind up in the same area. NFC West. Sel, I think they put 4 teams in the playoffs, and I don't think that's too crazy.
Is that mathematically possible?
Now it actually is. Really, all it means is this. It means that the Saints would miss the playoffs. That's really what it comes down to. We know the NFC East, Cowboys, Washington, Giants, Eagles. We know they only going to put 1 team in more than likely, especially after this weekend. Giants took a L. Cowboys took a L.
And they looked
Washington,
the best.
Took an L. Eagles,
Philly
the only
won.
team that won. But who they played? They played the Falcons, who won 4 games last year. What do we know about the NFC North? Packers took a L.
Big L. Capital
Bears took a L. Vikings took a bad L to a team that's still TBD. Lions took a L. So really, it's going to come down to, can the Cardinals be better than the Saints?
Okay.
Or can the Seahawks be better than the Saints? But I noticed NFC West, everybody won.
Okay.
And they all beat, like, fairly decent teams. It wasn't like beating, the Bengals, but the Bengals might actually be good this year. Who knows? Joey B and Jamar Chase out there balling. So I don't actually think it's that crazy or far-fetched. Like, it sounds it. But this would be the year in a down year of NFC East football. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, if he don't get it together, and the Bears are consistent or content with playing Andy Dalton, and the Vikings, they've been out on Kirk Cousins since they signed Kirk Cousins, a down year of NFC North football, it comes down to who you like. You like Jameis, you like Kyler, you like Cliff, you like Peyton, who you like. So that was my biggest takeaway from Sunday is I think Kyler Murray has matured. I think J.J. Watt is helping out because you see what Chandler Jones did. I think you're going to talk about that later in the show. So I think the Cardinals are legit. Thus, I think the whole NFC West is now legit.
Okay, I know I had a lot of pushback in there, at least in my emotions, but I agree with you. God, no. NFC West look like the NFC's best in terms of that division. Here's the thing, though. I just go back to last year, and I remember seeing the AFC North. I know there's one more game this year, but last year, AFC North, 12-win team, 11-win team, 11-win team. They all got to beat up on each other, right? So somebody got to take that.
Yes, sir.
And somebody was the 4-11 Bengals last year, and won. Don't forget they're one. Who's going to take it this year? That's the problem. They're all not going to finish 11 wins, 12 wins. It just can't happen that way. I don't see that. But with that said, the NFC West, and let's focus in on the Arizona Cardinals, because I think that's the team in the NFC West that's gotten the least amount of headlines. Good Lord, let's start at the top. Kyler Murray. I want to bring up Kyler Murray for a different reason, because now I see, as Howie Long always talks about, he is in his prime. His mental acumen, his mental prime, and his physical abilities are now at the same place. When you get into the league, Howie Long breaks this down. We all start with the elevator highly pitched at the top floor in terms of our physical abilities. But our mental side, like learning the game, the speed of the game, going against grown men and their old man strength, and the mental side, we got things to learn, right? Boy, Kyler Murray has finally made those elevators meet, and it's at a high level. Kyler Murray might have the greatest, quickest, short space speed I've ever seen in NFL history. No, I'm not playing. Barry Sanders comes to mind.
Of course.
But the people, y'all got to break down film like I break down film. Barry Sanders strides it. He took big steps and was quick as hell. That's why he was insanely great. Kyler Murray takes little steps and is as quick as Barry Sanders in that same short space. Why do I bring that up to start my take on Kyler Murray? Because every step you take, every single one of those steps is a micro decision you're allowed to make that your opponent can't. If I race you and I'm doing this and you over there going, boy, I could determine this, and that. Kyler Murray's doing that in manipulation, not only with his feet, but with his eyes. This dude is doing more intel per step, per play than anybody else at the position. What does it add up to? 5 touchdowns in week 1. What does it add up to? This team is taking the training wheels off. All respect to my homeboy, Larry Fitzgerald, but they don't need a babysitter anymore. Larry's not on the roster for, I think, that reason. It's time to grow up, y'all. And if you ever stop being super single, ever get some kids, you'll learn this. When your kid is around 13, 14 years old, and you got the little babies at the crib, you got a decision to make as a parent. You got a decision to make in terms of income and how you're going to allocate your assets, right? Do I get a babysitter? I got this 13-year-old in here. He's my size. So then you start to say, well, maybe the 13-year-old could be the babysitter. Right now, Kyler Murray, young, still in his development, it's time for him to run the house when you're gone, when you're just going to Nobu for a couple hours. I look at this team as fully mature now because their young leader is acting that way.
Speaking of running, how long do I can run to HR for him making fun of my super singleness? You know what I mean? This is some sort of like emotional distress.
Wait.
This is some sort of, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Is this the 2-time Emmy trauma coming out now? Because when you only won 1 Emmy, you ain't give a damn about it. Now, okay, 2-time Emmy trauma. Right.
You know what they say, more money, more problems, more success, more trauma. My second note you gonna have an issue with, and it's gonna bring trauma on your sports psyche. My biggest takeaway, Russell Wilson. This is MVP year.
What, vote? 1 vote finally?
So, first and foremost, we know this much.
Stop.
When you're running a race, and you know this better than most because you're a you do the fingers, national record holder.
You got it right.
He's a national record holder.
Yeah, right.
So you know this. If you run a race and you realize, monkey hopped on my back at 300 meters. Not literal monkey for those that did not run track. At the 300-meter marks, when your back starts to tighten up, your lats start to tighten up, something called lactic acid kicks in, and you just don't really know. You run out of oxygen to your muscles, thus your body starts to get tighter. you realize how to change your training regimen, how to change your practice the week before, maybe even change your diet, maybe increase the carbs, whatever the case may be, so that monkey doesn't hop on your back, figuratively speaking, at the same point in the track. Russell Wilson, he started hot last year. He started hot again this year. But last year, the monkey jumped on his back. I think Russell Wilson realizes, okay, I'm not going to let that happen to me again. Russell Wilson and the Colts game, that Seahawks-Colts game, it was the most intriguing matchup to me because both quarterbacks were playing for everything.
Oh, good point.
Carson Wentz, you out there playing for your career livelihood. Right. Russell Wilson, you're playing not to be Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers made a donkey out of himself. All that offseason drama went out there, laid an egg.
Great point.
Russ, you also had all that offseason drama, but you went out there and balled and proved that you are worth it. My takeaway in watching that game is Russ is too good, man. Tyler Lockett was a return specialist coming out of college, drafted in the 3rd round. Russell Wilson has made him one of the best receivers in the league. But more than that, what y'all don't get at home because you can't tell on the television, Russell Wilson has to manage emotions. DK Metcalf, as great a player as he is, you can tell he has a little bit of diva in him, if you will.
Say it.
He deserves to. 6'3", 235, ain't nobody like him. But when you go out on the field with blue hair, you're a character. Tyler Lockett had been balling. I was watching the game intently. It was the only game I could watch. It was before the Emmys. I was watching the game intently. Tyler Lockett got 2 touchdowns early on in the game. DK Metcalf, I don't even know if he had 2 targets. Russell Wilson noticed that. Next thing you know, they go down the field. Russell Wilson hits DK Metcalf on a slant, touchdown, and DK's whole emotional standpoint changed. Players in football, they want to win. But particularly skilled players, they want the team to win through them.
Yes, yes.
DK wants to win, but he also wants a new deal, making him the highest paid receiver. Russell Wilson not only has to manage the team's expectations and team's emotions, but Russ has to make sure they win. But as they win, you got to win a certain way. And not only did Russ win, he won the perfect way by keeping all of his players and pieces happy. Huge winner on Sunday.
That was great. You actually captured what Russell Wilson wants to do this year. The problem is, everything that you say Russell Wilson wants to do, what's going to get in the way is what he's actually going to do. I don't trust him emotionally to be the leader of a team's emotions. Do you remember this whole season? Where did this all start? He up there in the luxury box at the Super Bowl. If you can find a complaint about life at the Super Bowl in the box next to Roger Goodell, I don't know what those seats cost because I never want to purchase one of those seats, and I know I ain't famous enough to get one of them seats. And Russell Wilson found a way in that moment to bring a whole offseason of complaining. Eating that $90 popcorn, sitting there next to Roger Goodell and all his money. He found a reason to start off a firecracker this entire offseason. But now he's going to be the one that brings in the blue hair peacock and the diva receiver and makes sure everything level. Yeah, right. Soon as they hit adversity, soon as they hit a landmine, we'll see how they respond to this. Kobe Bryant said it. He said, look, I want us to win, but I want to be the reason we win. So I get all of that. Here's the problem, though. I don't trust the Seattle Seahawks yet because they haven't hit their bump. They haven't hit the wall just yet with all these new additions. Once they do that and they come clean through that process, you got something there. Let's get back to Kyler Murray because he had the best day. Kyler Murray is a hummingbird, as I call him. Hummingbirds are a little different than an eagle. Eagles fly faster. Can't tell. Do they even make that sound? They just go like that. Hummingbirds, not as fast, but quick. Kyler Murray is now so twitchy in his decisions and so twitchy in everything that he's doing on that football field. I'm telling you, who's not going to be last place in this division is the Arizona Cardinals. Staying with the NFL, Terry Bradshaw put $1 million on the line again for NFL Week 2. Damn, every week. Scan the QR code on the screen, download the Fox Bet Super 6 app for free, and predict the outcome of 6 NFL games for your shot to win Terry's money. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers should ask for a do-over, a mulligan, breakfast ball after a rough season opener. Tell you if the blowout loss was a bad look for the Packers quarterback. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Now, the Packers were blown out Sunday by the Saints. Aaron Rodgers finished with 0 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, and the worst margin of defeat in his career. He was even pulled in the 4th quarter for Jordan Love. Now, after the game, head coach Matt LaFleur said, quote, Saints, absolutely embarrassed us. Now, Rodgers added, quote, "You played bad. I played bad," close quote. Our own Bucky Brooks. Okay, Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers. Bucky Brooks tweeted, "Perhaps a certain quarterback should have spent more time working on his game with his teammates and less time campaigning for personnel power," close quote. Well, we had to bring in our own Bucky Brooks to see if he's still about that action with his words, not the tweets.
What a thug.
So, Bucky,
What a thuggin'.
is a blowout loss a bad look for Aaron Rodgers? Or I guess we know your answer. So how bad a look is it for Aaron Rodgers?
It's a very bad look. I think the great Malcolm X would say that this was a case of the chickens coming home to roost. This was Aaron Rodgers kind of getting all of that karma coming back at him. See, because when you do all the things that Aaron Rodgers did over the course of the offseason, and you kind of subtly throw the organization and personnel people under the bus, well, now all the spotlight is on you and your attention. And if you're a real one and you know that that's coming, then you prepare for those things. But what Aaron Rodgers did is he stayed away from the facility. He stayed away from his teammates. He kind of let everyone wallow in this mess that he created. And then he showed up on training camp and thought it was going to be all good, as if because you're a great player, you can just flip the switch and everything is going to be what it was a year ago. I sat here and I sat on this show and I told you, if you go back prior to his MVP season last year, everything in Aaron Rodgers' performance, production, and all that stuff was declining. He turned it around because he was very motivated by Jordan Love's arrival, and so he played at the MVP level. Well, now he's a fat cat. He got everything that he wanted because he won MVP. He had an entire offseason to poke the bear and poke fun at the Packers organization. And now, because he hasn't necessarily put in the same level of work, it showed up in that first game. Doesn't mean it's going to stay like that, but this was just a classic case of what Malcolm X talked about, the chickens coming home to roost.
Great point right there. Yeah, it was a horrible look for Aaron Rodgers and horrible timing as much as a horrible look, because we actually saw Aaron Rodgers last year in his MVP campaign look worse than he did even yesterday. I give you the quarterback ratings. Yesterday, 36.8. Last year versus the Bucs in that loss, 35.4. He responded after that loss as I think he will respond after this loss. But it still is telling in terms of Aaron Rodgers. You took your eyes off the prize, man. And you got to remember, Aaron, and it's so crazy. I'm sitting up here in this air-conditioned suit who used to look at Aaron Rodgers and be like, golly, he's so amazing. And I know he knows all the things I'm going to say. But let me remind you, Aaron Rodgers, that football will always tell on you. That's one thing I love about football. You come in there with all that rah-rah you want. You come in there with all them muscles if you want. Hey, it's a moment of truth, and you must respond to the bell because it never stops ringing. Oh, it told on Aaron Rodgers yesterday that you're not all in. Say what you want, Aaron Rodgers. You're not all in. In football, it's the jungle, especially where I played in the trenches, but everywhere out there, even in the suburbs where Acho and Bucky were at, it's the jungle, and cats trying to eat. And if you come out there and you too cute, or you're not fully prepared or fully committed, oh, we're going to expose you to those that don't know you. So, Aaron Rodgers, you can come in there off of an MVP campaign, but you got to put that trophy up. It's week 1 of the next season. You can come in there and say, oh, I know the system. Yeah, I get it. I'm great, and I know this situation, so I can just go in there and show up and show out. It's not that simple. I look at this like I look at nature shows. Like, you ever see that when the hyenas see him coming, here come a cheetah, and that hyena take off. And the hyena, you know he ain't faster, so all he got is agility. And then one time he trip up. Boy, all you see is that clip. Come get you. And I don't give a damn who you are, what you are. You slip up this much. And when I say your eyes are not on the prize, I'm not talking some huge wide gap, some great disparity. I'm talking about you being in the jungle with somebody who's 100% in and you 98. Boy, you get out there in the football world, and it will come back to haunt you.
Yo, this is the worst part of this all, and I'm going to try to tie both of y'all's answers and responses together. It's the fact that Aaron Rodgers has now given us this narrative, Bucky Brooks. When Aaron Rodgers struggled last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because he did struggle, no touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, atrocious passer rating, Bucky ain't turned to Twitter and say maybe somebody should have been working with his team all offseason instead of campaigning. No, Bucky was just like, you know what? This Todd Bowles defense must be great. These Tampa Bay Buccaneers corners must have well improved. Bucky didn't go out there tweeting. You know, he shouldn't have been spending so much time campaigning for personnel power. No, Bucky was like, man, Aaron Rodgers played a bad game, but kudos to Bruce Arians and company. But now that Aaron Rodgers did spend the offseason campaigning for personnel power, now that Aaron Rodgers did spend the offseason in Hawaii when he could have been at OTAs, now you give individuals, smart, astute analysts like Bucky a reason. Rodgers, you give them a reason for your failure and shortcoming. Rodgers did this to himself. Bucky might be right. Maybe Aaron Rodgers did suck yesterday by all measurable metrics. Maybe he did suck yesterday because he was campaigning for personnel power instead of out there with his teammates. Or maybe he just had a bad game. The problem is we'll never actually know the truth, but we will know the narratives, and Aaron Rodgers played himself.
I think I'll do this in Aaron Rodgers terms. Who is the quarterback that played awful yesterday? Aaron Rodgers. That's my Jeopardy for 200. So look, what happens is he opened up the gate for me to take shots at him because he did all the other stuff that you shouldn't do, particularly when you're the quarterback. Because here's what everyone said in the offseason. Aaron Rodgers wants what Tom Brady has. He wants to do what Tom Brady does. Well, you know what Tom Brady does? We always see Tom Brady working. We always see Tom Brady with those guys putting in those extra hours. We don't hear Tom Brady always talking about my stature and my MVPs and all these other things because Tom Brady's always focused on what's next. And look, I've been critical of Tom Brady during times when I thought that he would fall off and all those other things. But the one thing you can never question about Tom Brady would be the level of commitment when it comes to it. Aaron Rodgers let that narrative float out about, oh, I don't know if I want to play. Maybe I'll retire. Maybe this, maybe that. And so it opens it up. He opens himself up for criticism when you don't do that. Marcellus said it. Football is a funny game because you can only be all the way in to play the game. And as you talk about the jungle, as soon as you begin to talk about those things, well, maybe I'm done, maybe I'm out, maybe I go do other stuff, the football guys tend to strike you down and show you, hey, either you in or you out because we will put you out if you're not all the way in. And so Aaron Rodgers got a little bit of humble pie on Sunday. Now he gets the opportunity to reset, and we will see. Because great players typically respond to adversity. I would expect him to respond. But yesterday was just a little sign from the football guys to let you know, hey, man, don't tempt fate because fate will actually come back and bite you.
Yep. That's football right there, Bucky. You nailed it. You don't get admitted into the delivery room half pregnant in football. If you ain't all in, you stay your ass home. Because I'm telling you, you're going to go out there and be like, what just happened? And you're going to feel it. Aaron Rodgers is feeling it, not only emotionally, but physically after that performance yesterday. He did something that is interesting. I've watched this human dynamic in our world where you're not supposed to give them what they want. In this situation, because Aaron Rodgers flirted with retirement, people started to think, is he flirting with caring about the consequences of this team's outcome? Winning or losing, do you care? Because as soon as you hear somebody say, I could play or don't play, then when you play with them, think about it. It could be tag in front of the house. Man, I don't want to play, I want to play. Then when you play, you be looking like, is he going to play like as long as I want to play? Is he going to play as committed as I'm going to play? Is he really going to chase after me? We playing tag, but he didn't want to play in the first place, so now I'm always thinking that in the back of my head. Aaron Rodgers converted the we to me. This entire offseason became about Aaron Rodgers instead of the collective. So then people start looking at the same thing differently. As Acho pointed out, last year you had a worse game. They ain't looking at you like they did last year. You won the MVP last year. They looking at you like, man, you should have retired if you're not going to be committed to this team. But last year was actually a worse performance. It's the selective perception of it all. I ended with this. L.A. is known for having people, transplants like you, Acho, not really from here, but trying to act like you down for us. And you guys come out here, and I hear it all the time. Oh, man, everyone that has a Lamborghini and Ferrari and Mercedes. And I'm like, man, stop. You go down the street right now in L.A., you would count one Mercedes and 90 Hondas, 91 Toyotas, 2,000 Nissans, and then there's another Mercedes. Point being, Aaron Rodgers, the great, who rarely has moments like this, that rare Mercedes and that rare Lambo and that rare Ferrari has now made us think, oh, this is going to happen in occurrence. Aaron Rodgers is going to fix it like he did last year. All this is going to clear up. But right now, boy, it's a bad place to be if you're Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know what streets you be going down, Sale, because if I go down your street, I'm counting at least 3 Teslas. Okay?
That's just in the driveway.
I'm counting at least
That's
3
just
Teslas.
in the crib.
I know that much. Let me just elaborate on a point you made earlier when talking about Rodgers, and I won't want to go by this conversation without bringing this up. Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur are about to have big beef. Because if I'm Matt LaFleur, eventually I'm going to just spaz and be like, shut up, Aaron Rodgers.
You think he got that in him?
Here's why.
Let's go.
So you can cause all the ruckus and chaos and all the drama you want, Aaron Rodgers, if you come out here and ball. And you caused all that drama because you came off an MVP season. We can't tell you nothing. Like we can't tell you nothing. However, you get blown out and you get us blown out because that loss goes on Rodgers' resume, but it also goes on Matt LaFleur's resume. When you look up linebackers, you never see their career record. Defensive ends, you never see their career record. Bucky Brooks, you'll never see a DB's career record, but you will see the career record of a quarterback and a head coach. So Matt LaFleur is sharing that loss equally with Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, do all the talking you want, but ball. Don't do all this talking, come embarrass us, embarrass me, and then contradict me in the post-game presser with this passive-aggressive shade. Week 1, gentlemen, we're already seeing the passive-aggressive shade. They only lost 1 game. Wait till they lose 2, 3, or 4. I'm telling y'all, read into that small issue. It will be a big issue soon.
Hey, Archer, that's a great observation because that's one of the things that comes up when you have this kind of discord in the offseason. Like, as a front office executive, you will tolerate all kinds of behavior as long as the performance is at a high level. But as soon as the performance starts to dip, on the first train, we're putting that guy out the building. And so we saw it. We actually saw this happen in real time with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Antonio Brown. Not saying that Aaron Rodgers is like Antonio Brown and some of the issues that AB had, but as soon as the performance begins to dip, then you do the risk-reward analysis. And so Aaron Rodgers has to continue to play at a high level so the Packers will tolerate all of the other stuff that comes along with him. Because as soon as his game begins to dip, Jordan Love is the quarterback of the future, which is why the Packers didn't relent on any of those negotiating things that took place in the offseason because they still wanted to see if Aaron Rodgers was still going to ball out. Because as soon as he stops balling out, they're going to take the ball and hand it to Jordan Love, and he is going to take it from there.
Oh, man, y'all the homies that be talking real tough when we at the bar talking about, yeah, man, she tripping, it's over. And I've noticed over my 46 years that it takes people a long time to break up. Remember day one when your boy said it's a wrap? And then remember the day when they actually break up. A long time elapses between that. And some of it is courage. I don't think Matt got the courage. I don't think LaFleur ready for that smoke. And some of it is, look, you got to have the support to get there. I always say this, in any relationship that ends, you spend half the time breaking up. Now, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to give this to you just like I did about Tom Brady. They spent 6 years breaking up with Tom Brady, and finally it came to fruition. Remember 2014, second rounder, not first rounder like Jordan Love. 2014, who they draft? Jimmy G. Belichick knew what he was trying to do. He ain't drafting no second-round quarterback unless he like, yo, one day, me and you, we're going to boo up. But he wasn't allowed to do that. Now, Belichick has more stripes than obviously Matt LaFleur. He has more cred. He could do what he want to do, right? Did he get what he wanted? No, he got overtaken. He got in that position where he was sandwiched between what Kraft wanted and what Tom Brady meant to the organization. Y'all got to remember, there's a dual existence when you're talking about the greats. It's about how you ball, how you play in that moment, how you play in that year, how you playing in those games. But it's also, what do you mean to this organization? They are not going to fumble the ball on Aaron Rodgers and his legacy and what he means to the Green Bay Packers. Now, that's why it took them so long to break up with Brett Favre. You know how many years they were thinking? Golly, at least 3 years it took them. I think this is going to be a slow play as well. Matt LaFleur, he may want to go there, but Aaron Rodgers still holds the ball in this corner. Coming up, the bright lights were on Matthew Stafford's Rams debut last night. We'll tell you if his new team lived up to the hype. That's next on Speak For Yourself. Yep. Matthew Stafford came into his Rams debut last night. Huge expectations, and boy, did he deliver. Stafford finished with over 300 passing yards and 3 touchdown passes. no interceptions. His teammates were even impressed. Take a listen to Jalen Ramsey after the game.
He did amazing. His command, his swag, like everything was great. That's like a debut that probably should go down in history, like just the way he played.
Bucky is back to explain swag. But Acho, did the Rams live up to the hype?
Absolutely, fellas. Ball is simple. Fans, ball is simple. I'm going to break it down, and sometimes because of the show, I get overly complex. But yesterday, I realized it's this. Your best players got to play their best. Period.
That's it.
That's it. Matthew Stafford, offensively, he should be the best player for the Rams, particularly based on what they gave up to get him. Matthew Stafford was a beast. First player in a debut, 3 tugs, over 300 yards, plus a dub, like beast, all-around dog. Cooper Kupp at wideout. People sleep on him for whatever reason. But Cooper Kupp was a beast. Defensively, Jalen Ramsey, best player on the football field. And if it wasn't Jalen Ramsey, it was Aaron Donald. Their 2 best players were the best players. Beasts. I have the Rams going to the Super Bowl. I have them losing the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. I predicted it on Friday before the season starts. And after Sunday's night, so yesterday's game, I feel great about that prediction. Why? Because as long as the best players continue to play their best, they will be fine. Off talent alone, Jalen Ramsey is probably the best defensive back in the National Football League. At worst, he's top 3. Off talent alone, Aaron Donald is the best defensive lineman in the National Football League, especially the best defensive tackle. Off talent alone, Matthew Stafford is a top 5 quarterback. Off talent alone. We know this much. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But as me and Sel discussed on Friday, what happens when talent does work hard? The Rams may be one of the most talented rosters in the National Football League. Yesterday, they worked exceptionally hard and exceptionally smart, and they do look the part. Lived up to the hype.
Yeah, they lived up to the hype in that nice stadium. Boy, I'm telling you, SoFi, Charger Stadium, insane. We let y'all borrow it for a week, Rams, and y'all went out there and lived up to the hype. However, I can't go all kumbaya up here. I got to give them props, and then I also got to push back a little bit because Acho will go extreme either way. Here's the thing. Sean McVay, 5th season as a head coach. What's his record in week 1, y'all? Anybody? Yeah, he's never lost. So this is what Sean McVay does, no matter who the quarterback is. Now, here's the thing that I love. I compared Matthew Stafford versus Matthew Stafford, and I'm like, oh, Matthew Stafford, you went out there and did something. Not only did you set a record for passer rating with a new team by all quarterbacks, you also set your career highs in passer rating and yards per attempt. Matthew Stafford, career game, first game, Sean McVay, new stadium, new city, new team. Highly interested in that. You compare him to last year with Jared Goff. And already the 2 50-yard plus touchdowns is as many as Jared Goff had all last year. So you start to say, okay, they really got better at the most important position. How much better? That's what I want to push back on because Sean McVay knows there's still some issues with this team. Y'all remember at halftime we were watching this game? We're like, why are they only up 6? They should have ran this team off the field, boat raced them, but they did not. Also, they were outrushed by the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears had 10+ more minutes of time of possession. There were a few things that I saw. They didn't have 100 yards rushing. You got to go back to last year, week 11, before you see that. All that said, it looked like an amazing performance because the Rams got better at the most important position. How much better? I think a lot of that is yet to be seen, especially what looks like the toughest division in the NFL.
Hey, look, man, it's tough right now because it's just a regular season. And really, we can't judge and evaluate Matthew Stafford until we get to the playoffs. But right now, what Matthew Stafford and the Rams did was like us being at the barbecue. We had the cookout. We're playing a game of spades. And I'm Sean McVay, and I open up my hand. I got big joker, little joker, and then I got the wild card at the top. So when I got that, I can beat anybody because my hand is better than your hand. But what we will see is what is Sean McVay like in the playoffs when he may not have that hand, when he doesn't necessarily have the best players all around. But let me say this. If you want to be a great coach, the best thing you can do is get great players. And when you got great players, everything looks great. They ain't a Hall of Fame coach without Hall of Fame players that he's instructed. And so when I look at Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford, it does look a lot different. And I sat up here and I defended Jared Goff and all of that. And I like Jared Goff. But it's a little different when Matthew Stafford is throwing the rock. When Cooper Kupp and those guys are getting behind you, you now have a quarterback that can make it happen. And what typically happens is A-level quarterback elevate those around him. I will say this without being disrespectful. The Rams don't have an elite number one receiver, but they got a bunch of Bs, B-pluses that can get it done because now they got an A-level quarterback. And that makes the difference when we're looking at this game. Matthew Stafford definitely elevates the Rams, but he won't be judged until we get to the postseason and see if he can lead them to win when it's about playing against other elite teams. We won't know that until the postseason.
Bucky, I don't like all that, man. I love your take, and I'm going to agree with the latter half of your take and the latter half of my take, but I don't like rendering the next 17 weeks of ball meaningless for Stafford. I feel you. You know, he's 0-3 in the playoffs, so I do feel you. You're not necessarily wrong. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that you're saying we can't cast any sort of meaning or judgment to these next 16, 17 weeks of ball. Don't do that to me, Bucky. Don't rob me of my joy. Don't do that, please. Now, let me tell you why I agree with you. I love your spades reference, right? You can have the trump cards for those that don't play spades, the big joker. You can add a little joker. You might play deuces high, or you might play aces high, depending on who you're playing with. I like that. It's not about what hand you have. It's about how you play your hand. I like that. You're on point with everything you're saying, Bucky. Here's the thing. I don't know that any team will have a better hand, if you will, in the NFC than the Rams. No team has a defensive lineman MVP in the NFC. Remember, the MVPs defensively last year, Myles Garrett was flirting with it. Your boy T.J. Watt was flirting with it. But in the NFC, ain't nobody touching Aaron Donald. In the NFC, when you're talking about cornerbacks, ain't nobody really touching Ramsey now. My dog, Jair Alexander, a dog for the Packers. He a dog. But when you're really talking about Tre'Davious White for the Bills, when you're talking about my dude for the Dolphins, name slipped my mind, just got paid, not Byron Jones. Howard, dog. But in the NFC, I do think the Rams are going to be able to roll up against any opponent and have a better roster than just about every opponent except for the Bucs. So again, if they're the most talented team, except for the Bucs in the NFC, I think they can just keep, big joker, give me that. Little joker, give me that. Ace, I need that. King, I need to stop playing. Okay, y'all out of spades. Just put the cards down. Give me the rest of the book. I love that feeling. The rest of the book.
Lay them down, boy. Hold on. Acho, you got me hyped right now. I'm at the cookout. Hey, what you talking about, Keisha? What you talking about? Boy, tear the ribs up in that white linen. Boy, you better stop playing. What about James Bradbury? No, he's a good corner, but he played for the Giants. That ain't gonna help. Okay, look. What about Chandler Jones? Chandler Jones. Look, he ain't Aaron Donald, but he's of all active players third on the list in terms of sack production.
Jones a dude now.
Beyond a dude now. That dude, but respect to what you said. But you lied also, Acho. I heard you say this quote. Bucky. Acho, when he get into his zone. Bucky, I like what you did. I'm going to bury half your take and then half of my take. Like, what the hell is your whole take? Okay, here we go. Rob me of my joy. You going to sit up here and say, don't let Bucky rob you of your joy when you rob me of my joy every basketball season. You act like you can't give a proposition to a player that we don't care about what you do in the regular season, just the postseason. You do it every year to my man, Paul George. You know what you start doing when it comes playoff time? You forget his name is Paul George. You start calling him Playoff P. Then you get real comfortable when you see one bad shot. Oh, he Pandemic P. Then you get real comfortable when you see one bad game. Oh, he ain't an all-star. He a some star. Hey, bruh, sometimes it gets down like that. And we looking at Matthew Stafford and his multiple wives. How many wives he had in the game yesterday? Y'all see that? That was crazy. Hilarious. I'm glad they clarified that because he ain't got 2 wives. He got 1. How many times you going to look at Matthew Stafford and then be like, we're just going to forget about your 0-3 in the playoffs? And one thing I know about this, I'm not even going to go into the psychology like Matthew Stafford ain't ready for the big stage. I'm not going to go there. I will go here, though. Playing in the playoffs, you know that bump in speed and bump in intensity that you go through from preseason to regular season, and then when you're really fighting with something on the line, and then when you get into the postseason, it's a different animal. So let's see if Matthew Stafford can show up when it matters most. Is he an all-star or some star? Coming up, the Eagles are on top in the NFC East after week 1. We'll tell you if Philly is a legit threat to the Cowboys. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Jalen Hurts showed why he was named the starter for the Eagles, for my Eagles on Sunday. Yeah, they still my squad still.
Yeah,
now,
right.
He finished with 3 touchdown passes, including 1 to reigning Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith in the blowout win over the Falcons. The Eagles are on top of the NFC is that Eastern Leaf? I can't tell. With Dallas looking up after their loss to Tampa. So, Sel,
What?
Are the Eagles a legit threat to them Cowboys in the NFC East?
Yeah, we should flip the question. Of course they are. I mean, who has the better record right now? So you can say what you want about the Cowboys looking good. Looking good ain't going to get you into the playoffs. Winning games is, even if they're ugly, wins. And that wasn't an ugly win by the Philadelphia Eagles. I know we're going to poke at the opponent. We're going to start to say, Atlanta, really? Hey, Atlanta will always show you some games with fight. Maybe this wasn't the one as they got spanked 32-6. But still, I look at the Philadelphia Eagles and one at the position that matters most, quarterback. You can see not only ability, but you can see that he is the leader of this squad. Washington already on their backup quarterback, Taylor Heineke, who had a better quarterback rating than Baker Mayfield. Maybe I should make something good about that. But the point is, I'm not so certain about Washington and how they're going to go. Giants looked horrible. Looked like the bottom is going to fall out of this team very fast. Saquon Barkley coming off the injury, not Saquon Barkley just yet. If they don't fix this and fix this fast, I know what starts to happen. You start to lose it up here, and then it's going to show out there. So, yeah, this is a 2-team division in terms of the race between the Cowboys and the Eagles. And right now, Eagles off to the fast and early lead.
My dog, you're exactly right. What they say, you look good from far, but you look
far from good.
That's what them Cowboys is to me. They look great from far. Even on Thursday against the Bucks, they look phenomenal from afar. Stat line looked phenomenal. But when you really look into the details of it all, the Buccaneers had 4 turnovers, 3 meaningful turnovers, and the Cowboys still lost. Cowboys look great from far, but as it stands right now, they still look far from good. So to them Eagles, Eagles actually look good up close. They look kind of good from afar. Surprising to me, I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm not going to come out here and try to stunt now for the camera. I did not think Nick Sirianni and the Eagles would figure it out in year 1. I'm still not convinced they will, but I am going to assess the tape based on the most recent tape. How about the Eagles' picks, nailing them? First-round pick last year, Jalen Reagor, touchdown catch. Good for them, good for him. How about the Eagles' first-round pick this year, Devontae Smith, Heisman winner, touchdown catch. Good for them, good for him. How about the Eagles' second-round pick, tight end, Dallas Goedert from 2018, touchdown catch. Good for them, good for him. The Eagles' players are making plays. Miles Sanders, Eagles' second-round pick from 3 years ago, over 100 all-purpose yards between receiving and rushing. Good for them, good for him. Say what you will about Eagles general manager Howie Roseman. I know a lot of people have a lot of beef with him. Rightfully so. However, right now, as it stands, the Eagles are landing on their picks. They're performing on the field. Jalen Hurts, second rounder, balling. Jordan Mailata, Eagles drafted him in the 7th round. They just re-signed him at left tackle. They look all right. They look good. It's not the super sexy names that the Cowboys have. You ain't got no CDs. You ain't got no Zekes.
No DVDs.
You ain't got no Jalen Smiths. You ain't got no Leighton Vander Esch's, no Micah Parsons. But the dudes that the Eagles do have made plays. Again, Eagles played the Falcons, Cowboys played the Bucks. Let's put everything in perspective. I ain't going to trip after one game, but Eagles are currently winning the division.
Winning the division and looking good in winning that division. Like you said, it's funny, you said, what is it, great from far, far from great? Eagles were standing next to somebody that wasn't that fine, the Atlanta Falcons in that picture. So maybe look a little better. Since week 12 of the 2017 season, they haven't had a margin of victory that large. So you got to go back where they felt this good, this much champagne being poured after week 1. I give you all that. We saw a career high in passing touchdowns. Who? Jalen Hurts. Remember him? Oh, yeah, you weren't on board with him. Now you are. All right, what about Jalen Hurts? Now passed for 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in his last 3 starts. What about this? Career high in completion percentage and passer rating. Jalen Hurts, you all in now? Acho, tell me yes or no.
I'm in. I'm not all in. I mean,
you all in on Jameis in week 1 and you ain't all in on
the Falcons. Jameis played the Packers with Jair Alexander out there.
I get it. The homegirl ain't that fine, but still, they look good.